Well, shit, I no sooner get back safely from this 30-day bike ride across the Western Trans-American Trail than I got a report on the loss of two more Airtanker pilots. Yesterday, 30 July, two single-engine air tankers collided in midair while working the Bishop Fire, the so-called Bishop Fire, near Caliente, Nevada, a 14,000-acre fire on BLM land. There were no survivors. We don't have a lot of information about this accident at this time, but as a former U.S. Forest Service lead pilot trainee, I can give you a little bit of background and information on the aircraft involved and the operation. The aircraft involved are called SEATs, single-engine air tankers. These are contracted by the BLM to fight fire on BLM land. These single-engine air tankers are typically AirTractor AT-802 aircraft powered by the PT-6A engine, typically capable of carrying about 800 gallons of retardant at 9 pounds per gallon. That's, 7,200 pounds worth of retardant. Single engine, PT-6A powered, 1,300 horsepower, and of course single pilot operation as well. All of these SEATs, single engine air tankers, are what's called IA qualified. They're initial attack qualified air tanker pilots. This means that they can be used on an initial attack on a fire without additional aerial supervision. That means you can send a SEAT out to a fire by himself or with another SEAT and attack the fire by themselves without additional supervision. Now, these levels of pilot qualification are further broken down by the BLM and the U.S. Forest Service, level 1 and level 2 pilots. A level 2 pilot is able to operate in the firefighting airspace environment with up to 2 other aircraft without additional air attack supervision. A level 1 pilot can work with multiple aircraft over a fire without additional aerial supervision. What all this means is this makes the SEAT aircraft a very versatile tool in the toolbox for fighting fire in remote locations without a lot of supervision. What we don't know about the accident at this time is what was the level of supervision going on when this accident happened. This fire broke out on 29 July, the day before. Fires are usually broken down into 2 phases, initial attack and extended attack. The initial attack is usually the first 24-hour or the first day of burning of the fire. Initial attack is when you jump on it, try to keep a small fire small. If that fire continues beyond the first day of burning, it becomes an extended attack, and then you begin to develop a strategic plan as to how you're going to fight this fire. So it looks like this fire was in its extended attack phase. I believe these crews were working this fire for more than 1 day, so that means they have become familiar with the operation and working the ins and outs of getting to and from the fire. Again, we don't know at what phase this midair occurred. Was it directly over the fire, or was it when they were coming or leaving the fire? All of this falls under the purview of the air attack group supervisor. Usually that's a pilot, and a firefighter that's trained in aerial operations in the right seat is usually orbiting over the fire in an aircraft like an Aero Commander. Part of the role of the air attack group supervisor is to make sure they're using the resource effectively, the aerial retardant effectively in putting out the fire, and to help maintain separation from the aircraft. So if there was an ATGS involved during this accident, that's a huge burden on that ATGS supervisor. He will have a lot of the answers as to what happened in this midair event. These single-engine air tankers usually come in 2 flavors. There's the exclusive use contract single-engine air tanker, which means you have exclusive use of that aircraft through the entire firefighting season, and then a call-when-needed resource. That's tankers that are on standby that can be used when needed. So far for the 2020 firefighting season, the BLM, or Bureau of Land Management, has 34 SEATs on exclusive use contract. So they got 34 of these single-engine air tankers scattered throughout the western United States. fighting fire currently, and they also have another 100 single-engine air tankers on a call when needed status, standing by if in the event they are needed. They also have another 19 amphibious air tanker aircraft that are on a call when needed status. All this information I'm getting, by the way, from Fire Aviation website. I'll post a link to this below. So 20 years ago when I was training as a lead plane pilot trainee, we had TCAS, traffic collision avoidance systems, installed in our lead airplanes. At the time they were the turbocharged pressurized Baron aircraft. They've now switched over to King Air type aircraft. And we were pushing at the time to get TCAS installed in all the large air tanker aircraft in the industry. There was a lot of pushback from the pilots about that. It added cost and complexity to the contract as well, and a lot of the pilots were concerned that that would get their heads too far inside the cockpit in an operation that required a lot of outside of the cockpit situational awareness and working. But we eventually got the TCAS approved for the air tankers, and to this day the air tankers, the large air tankers, are really rely on the TCAS to keep the operation safe over the fire, because it's a very dense piece of airspace. Aircraft are coming and going constantly. With the help of TCAS, you can really help with the flow of traffic, moving in and out of the fire, picking up your rejoins if you're doing working with lead aircraft. However, I do not think, and the question is, was there TCAS on these single-engine air tankers? And the question I have for the industry is, did the requirement for TCAS ever make it down to the single-engine air tanker crews? Could this have prevented this accident? We don't know at this time. But traffic collision avoidance technology is a life-saving, mid-air preventing piece of technology that really works effectively. As we get more information, we'll keep you posted. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your support on Patreon. We'll see you here.